The election in Hyogo Prefecture was incredible, wasn't it? I believe Japan's major traditional media outlets think they can manipulate public opinion by tweaking the information they release. However, this election sends a clear message: not so fast. These media outlets' mindset hasn't changed since the days when North Korea was kidnapping Japanese citizens. Nowadays, though, people can exchange information freely over the internet. Online information comes in a wide variety, often presenting completely opposing narratives. Yet, those who consume this information can make their own judgments about which version is closer to the truth. As a result, even when the media tries to steer the public in a certain direction, fewer people are falling for it. That said, I believe this particular election was greatly influenced by Mr. Tachibana. The media narrative seemed to focus on claims that Mr. Saito drove an employee to suicide through power harassment. But Mr. Tachibana disrupted that storyline. He presented information suggesting that the real reason behind the incident was that the deceased employee stored sensitive data on a government-owned computer, information that would have been highly problematic if it leaked. This revelation highlighted another possible motive. Tachibana's ability to acquire and disseminate such information had a significant impact. The notion of someone dying due to power harassment paints an extremely negative image, and if that narrative had gone unchallenged, it might have been much harder to win the election. The role of social media was indeed significant, but what was shared and spread on these platforms also mattered greatly. This will likely influence the future trajectory of Mr. Saito's career as well. If I keep talking about this, though, we'll run out of time. So, let's save the rest for our live broadcast on Friday, where we can discuss this further together. Now, moving on to today's topic. Recently, in Guangxi, China, a man driving an off-road vehicle committed a mass killing. Subsequently, Xi Jinping reportedly issued directives to prevent such incidents from happening again. However, in light of these directives, another mass killing occurred, this time in Guizhou, Jiangsu Province. The incident took place at Guizhou Vocational Technical College of Crafts, where a student carried out a stabbing spree. As of this recording, 8 people have been killed, and 17 injured. Interestingly, the perpetrator's motives have been widely shared online. Initially reported by Hong Kong media, this story has since proliferated with various articles providing details. 2 primary motives have been cited. First, the student was allegedly subjected to labor under the guise of an internship, working 16-hour days without being paid. He reportedly hoped this incident would prompt labor law reform. Second, there's speculation that his inability to graduate fueled his dissatisfaction. Some reports attribute this failure to his poor performance in exams. From a Japanese perspective, this might sound like personal accountability. Failing exams is on the individual. But this could be linked to the exploitative labor conditions. It's hard for us to grasp the underlying dynamics that exist in China. This issue isn't new. For years, internships at Chinese schools have been criticized as a form of exploitation. When I made content about this topic a few years ago, I pointed out that China's economic deterioration has likely exacerbated the problem. These so-called internships typically involve vocational school students working in labor-intensive industries unrelated to their fields of study. This isn't about education, it's cheap labor. Schools often partner with companies to provide workers, and sometimes brokers get involved, further commercializing the arrangement. The working conditions are appalling: excessively long hours, minimal pay, and unsafe environments. Many students don't want to participate, as it's unrelated to their career goals. However, schools pressure them by threatening to withhold their diplomas. It's been reported that some students who voiced complaints or refused to work faced academic retaliation, including failing exams. The exploitative dynamics of these internships, long hours, no pay, and academic penalties, could have driven the perpetrator to such despair. While this doesn't justify his actions, it may explain his motivations. However, what confounds many is why the attacker targeted unrelated individuals instead of the corporate or school authorities responsible. This phenomenon, weak attacking the weaker, has been noted in China before. It reflects a cycle of desperation, where people lash out without addressing the root causes. While some reports frame the attack as a call for labor reform, it seems more like post-event rationalization. Such incidents rarely result in meaningful change in China. The entrenched system of exploiting cheap labor is deeply rooted in the country's corporate and educational structures. Even if minor adjustments are made, like reducing work hours from 16 to 12 or ensuring minimal wages, it's unlikely the system will fundamentally change. Too many stakeholders, from schools to businesses, depend on maintaining the status quo.
In the face of such issues, the Chinese government is likely to tighten information control rather than address the root causes. Restrictions on smartphone usage or content uploads might emerge to curb the spread of such incidents. Unfortunately, as long as systemic exploitation continues, there's a risk of similar tragedies occurring. And if Japan doesn't carefully manage its own immigration policies, it might face significant societal challenges in the future as well. That's all for today. See you in the next video.